Welcome to Sat Chats, the Bitcoin podcast where we chat about sats. Sats are the smallest part of a Bitcoin, the same way pennies are the smallest part of a dollar. With Sat Chats, we're building the world's biggest Bitcoin welcome center to serve as your gateway to generational wealth. So if you are a Bitcoin beginner, we want to chat about sats with you. Head to satchats.com to grab your slot on the show today. I'm your host, Stuart, Bitcoin Maxi, who wears prescription sunglasses to protect you and your loved ones from my Bitcoin laser eyes.
And I'm your co-host, Chris, founder and CEO of Ithaca Hummus, Bitcoin smash buyer, and multi-coiner, proud multi-coiner.
Yes, so smash that like and subscribe the same way Chris smash buys Bitcoin. Every time you do, a new Bitcoiner gets his laser eyes. So we're here today with Jay, and we are so excited for Jay because we just spent a few minutes with him before the show, and he's like already the man. But for all of our Raleigh satillionaires out there listening to the show, Jay is Linda Craft's husband. My goodness. Yeah. Linda Craft is the Mark Jacobson of real estate. You guys got to understand.
Well, she's bigger than that.
She's bigger than Mark Jacobson. Bigger than Mark Jacobson?
Yeah.
Man.
40 years. This is her 40th year.
That is incredible. Yeah, that is incredible. And the reason why I say Mark Jacobson is because everybody knows, growing up since 95 in Raleigh, I watched Mark Jacobson's at Toyota of Durham commercials. He's like, at Toyota of Durham. Yeah. And we actually went there one time when I was much younger and I was still taking time to, have hair on my head. I don't have time for hair on my head. I don't have time to take hair off the front of my face.
Nice haircut, though.
I ain't got no time. So we went there to get the Toyota scheduled and I saw him in person. I was like, Mark Jacobson, like I've been watching your commercials for 10, 20, 30 years. Like you're the man. And he stopped and he went, and I would give it all up for your hair. And I was like, oh my God, Mark Jacobson, yeah. But, when you're in Raleigh, you see the Linda Craft van.
Vans.
We have
a fleet of vehicles.
Wow. A fleet
of
vehicles.
So there's two moving vans that people can, like charities get to use for free, right? Or people who are clients of ours can move with. You'll see the Mercedes that the gal will go out. She'll take pictures of the home with. You'll see our guy who's out in the field, who's taking care of signs and vacant houses in the big, large vans. So we have a fleet of Linda Craft vehicles, and you know them all because they all say make offer. And they're like make offer 1 or make offer 2, which was a long standing thing, like 35 plus years ago that she put on her license plate.
The license plate. Okay. Yeah. You really cannot be aware of Raleigh real estate without knowing Linda Craft if you're here in Raleigh. That's it. Everybody knows Linda Craft.
Everybody.
It's the biggest name in the Raleigh game, at least from what I can tell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Jay's the man.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking to Jay about Bitcoin. We're going to be answering Jay's questions about Bitcoin.
Oh, my.
And this is going to be a good one because when he filled out the form, he said, I don't know anything about Bitcoin and I have no questions about Bitcoin. We're like, here we go. This is going to be a good one.
Amazing.
This is going to be a humdinger, folks.
Okay, I may have lied there. Okay, I have a little knowledge of Bitcoin. Okay. Like anybody who is at all read, right, you're going to know something about Bitcoin. Now, most of it's bad. Okay. Yep. Because, as a avid Wall Street Journal person, right, we get to see some of the bad headlines of Bitcoin. You very rarely see the good things about Bitcoin. Although I have some friends who have been extraordinarily successful investing in Bitcoin. I have some friends, let's be honest, who early on in the game were not quite so successful and have gotten out of the game. Mm-hmm. So I have just about this much knowledge. And for anybody who's looking, it's this much. Okay. And I know you're listening to us. So imagine that if you had a ruler and you have that 1/8 of an inch thing, go back to a 16th because that's about how much I have knowledge there.
Flip to the centimeter side of the
you might
ruler.
want to flip and start looking at the millimeters. So I know that I don't have a lot of knowledge of it, but I do know that people are, doing quite well. And I was telling you, Chris, that I was in Nashville speaking at a conference when President Trump came into the Bitcoin conference there in Nashville, right across the street from my hotel, right? So, we got to see the snipers on the roof and the whole thing, right? And I got to meet a lot of the people who were at the Bitcoin conference. Great, by the way, great people. Answered a bunch of questions because I don't know enough about it to even be dangerous, actually. Certainly have had my opinions about it, right? Not all of them good. I'm going to be really honest. Most of it's skeptical. Is that can I say that on the show?
Of course.
Yes. They've been a skeptic.
This show is for beginners who are skeptical or who they're on the centimeter side of the ruler. Like, you're perfect.
Okay. Because I think, there's a skepticism, but probably not. I can't say that. Maybe from a lack of knowledge. Might be from a lack of knowledge. But it also may be because of my risk tolerance into that area is not there yet. I'm willing to take a risk in what I really, really, really know, right? So I'm willing to invest in certain stocks that I know well or I'm comfortable in. There's certain stocks I wouldn't invest in because I just don't know enough about the business or the technology that I can be comfortable doing that. And it probably am in that position with Bitcoin where I would not be comfortable investing in it. Right. I think I would be comfortable going, I'd throw a few dollars at it, but I wouldn't be comfortable putting that level investment that I might be willing to put into, say, a stock that I know really, really, really well, or an area that I know well.
Okay. So we're going to dive into all that, and this is going to be really fantastic. But before we do, we want our satillionaires out there to get a chance to know you. So why don't you tell us, who is Jay?
Well, there's a lot of ways I can roll with that. So I tell people that I have 7 core values that I live my life by. And if you want to know who I am, it's these 7 core values. The first value is my faith, right? I live by my faith. That's absolutely true. Second value is authenticity, is to just be me and be comfortable in my own skin and be the same person that I am, whether I'm here with you, whether I'm outside with you, whether I'm on my own, wherever I'm at, be authentic. Third is gratitude. I think, regardless of your situation, regardless of my situation, regardless of my circumstances, regardless of any of our circumstances, there's always something to be grateful. And I want to have a heart of gratitude. The fourth thing about me is I believe in positive attitude, meaning I've got 3 things I'm in control of, and they're all part of my core values. And that's positive attitude, always giving effort, which is tied to your excellence, and being resilient, because we're all going to get knocked down. It's up to us to get back up. And excellence is how much effort you want to give today, right? You can always be as excellent as you can be, regardless of what that is, regardless of your situation. And then finally, my 7th core value is kindness. I believe that, and that was something that people told me when I asked them to evaluate my core values, was they said, you're kind. And because I only had 6. But they added the 7th one, and it was kind of a cool thing because I never think of myself that way. It's just kind of who I am. But the more I think about it, the more I go, kindness is really, really important as a core value. So that's who I am. That's my core values. That's how I make every decision. I evaluate everything I do through those 7 core values. Is it kind? And by the way, I'm not always perfect. So don't look at perfection because that's not what I am. Am I always being authentic? Am I got a positive attitude when I do it? Do I give the best effort? Am I being resilient? Am I authentic? Can I still be in gratitude? Is it compromising my faith? Every decision I make is through those 7. Right? And then I think that's critical to me. And then purpose, I think the other thing about me is I'm a believer in purpose. And I think we all have a purpose on this planet. Okay? All of us do. And I am a firm believer that my purpose is to repair the world and make it a better place by using my God-given gifts, talents, and abilities to help people become the potential that they were always meant to be. And that's my purpose in this world. And I do that through coaching. I do that through speaking. I do that through podcasting and the TV stuff that I do. So I am a human being, not a human doing, which is why I started out with who I am as a being, not as a human doing. Do I speak? Yes, all around the world. Am I a podcaster? Yes, all over 112 countries around the world. Am I an author? Yes, I do that. Am I an executive and personal coach? Yes, I do that. That's not who I am.
Wow.
Because I'm a human being, not a human doing.
Yeah.
Does that give you enough insight into who I am? Did I help you at all?
A lot.
It's amazing. And where can our Satillionaires go if they want to learn more about you, or maybe even engage you for coaching or read some of your books, etc., podcast?
Just go to coachingmavericks.com.
Okay.
I'm a big Maverick guy, right? That's part of my authenticity is I'm kind of a Maverick. I'm not the typical coach. I mean, I walk in here with the boots, the belt buckle, the blue jeans, right, and the whole thing. I'm not your typical coach, but that's okay. I believe that each one of us are Mavericks.
Yeah.
And we kind of do things in our own way because no two of us, we're all an individual thumbprint. And so my job as a coach is to help you find out how you can best be successful with what you've been given. Not with what I think you should do, but how do I develop what's already inside you?
Mm-hmm.
That's what Mavericks are, because we're all Mavericks. So coachingmavericks.com.
Okay, we love that. So how much do you know about Bitcoin, right? Like, what can you share with us?
So here's my limited amount of knowledge. Okay. I know that it's an investment piece that you can invest in, right? I know that it has, like when I look at the stock market and I look at coins and things like that, I know that it fluctuates just like any other market or stock, right? And so I do know that. I know that, for instance, if I invest in a Bitcoin, right, I don't actually, as far as I understand it, I don't actually get a coin that I'm aware of. It's really more I'm investing into something that other people believe in and invest in that is a currency that can be exchanged or cashed in for cash or goods. Okay. How am I doing so far?
Great.
Is that pretty accurate so far?
Yeah, accurate. Keep rolling.
Okay. So I know that there have been some questions by people whether, is it safe or not safe? People have asked that question, but I believe that's true of any investable asset, by the way. So I don't want you to hear that I'm being negative. I just don't know. It's a question that comes up. I don't know exactly how that exchange worked, but I'm assuming it's the same way that I would exchange if I had stock and I wanted to cash my stock in. I could get the cash out of it if I wanted to. I'm assuming that's pretty similar to do that. And I see it as an investment class, as any other investment class. And it requires a certain level of risk that you have to have a certain risk tolerance for. Beyond that, I can't tell you I have a lot of knowledge beyond that, honestly.
Okay.
Now, if you prompt me, I may go, oh, yeah, I forgot that.
Right.
Yeah.
And for sure. And I think that's a good, solid foundation that you're expressing right there. Bitcoin is an investment.
Right.
Bitcoin is also a currency.
Right.
There is risk, depending on who you ask.
Right.
Some on this show, aka moi, would tell you that there is no risk.
Okay.
But there is risk. And you can get some and you can cash it out later for other forms of money or for things you want in your life. Like some 1888s, right? We can
the Lucchese's come back into the conversation.
You can get you some Bitcoin now. It goes 10x over a couple of years. You get a little piece out. You get you some Lucchese's. You love your life, right? So I think that you have a solid foundation in terms of what Bitcoin is. And I really love to hear that because we are finding out that there's a large percentage of people out there who have heard of it, who know a little bit about it. But something is holding them back from stacking their first sats.
Okay, well, I can tell you that.
What's holding you back?
Yeah, no, I can tell you, it's skepticism, right? I mean, listen, I get all the time that people will say, oh, you can make money, right? But it's an investment class that I got to be honest with you, I am still skeptical about because I'm going to be me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we love this. We literally love how you're playing this.
But literally, I got the skepticism because I do have friends early on who did lose. By the way, so did I. By the way, you may not be old enough out there to remember the Great Recession in the 2000s here, back in about 2010 to 2009, right? I lost a third of my retirement portfolio. Ooh. We all did. Ooh. We all did. Did we get out? No. Just to let you know.
Held on to it.
We have to.
Yeah.
Because you got to play the long-term game. Probably this is where my skepticism comes in. I don't know about the long-term game because it hasn't been on the market long enough for me to have enough long-term thought process on Bitcoin.
Okay.
Right? Whereas the stock market has been around forever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we've had crashes, right? But if you look at the stock market's history over the course of time, if you stay with it, the stock market continues to go up, right? Even though we have crashes, the stock market rebounds and comes back up. I don't have that historical perspective with Bitcoin.
Okay.
It hasn't been around long enough for me to get rid of that skepticism.
Mm-hmm.
How long has Bitcoin been around?
Oh, you. I knew it was coming. As soon as I opened my mouth, I went, I can't inhale it back fast enough because I knew
It's out.
I knew it was a question that was coming next, and I was like, going, "You're not going to have an answer, man, bro. You don't have an answer for this one,
right.
And now you want to make stuff up, and you know that's going to be wrong." So I'm going to have to say solidly, I don't know how long it's been around.
Okay, if you guessed,
tops 15 years.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
So Bitcoin's Genesis block, January 3, 2009.
Oh, I'm not too bad then.
No.
Yeah.
One year.
You're within a fault tolerance there. You're within a rounding.
Bro, I'm statistically in there.
Jay is
yeah.
on the dartboard.
Okay.
And he's pretty close to the bullseye.
Okay.
So January 3, 2009, I'm sure it was Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin, who mined the first block.
Can you say that name again?
Satoshi Nakamoto is the creator.
That is a beautiful name.
Yeah. Now, that is a pseudonym. The same way Neo, Trinity, and Morpheus from the Matrix are pseudonyms.
You're in my wheelhouse with the Matrix. You're in my wheelhouse right there.
We're gonna stay there.
I love Matrix, bro.
And by the way, we're gonna get Jay the Matrix, the Bitcoin Matrix meme where Neo says to Morpheus, "So you're telling me that one day I'll be able to sell my Bitcoin for $1 million?" Got him, dude. I got Jay, dude. I got him.
Dude, you had me reeled in like a fish. And I'm like going, are we going blue pill, red pill here? And then you throw that? Okay,
yeah.
All right, whatever, Stuart. Go ahead.
And then Morpheus says, "No, Neo, I'm telling you that when you're ready, you won't have to."
Okay.
Right? So full Matrix, we love that. We love that movie. I'm a huge Matrix guy as well. So Satoshi Nakamoto was simply the name this individual was using online to partly mask his identity because he's of a mind, just like me, that privacy is cool. And it's a neat thing to be able to operate without everyone knowing exactly who you are and where you are and what you're doing, what you ate this morning. So January 3, 2009, the Genesis block has a piece of information that says Chancellor on the brink of second bailout. There's a message inside the Genesis block that is the headline from the UK newspaper that day. And it was a commentary, most believe, from Satoshi to the world saying, this system where all of these larger organizations can take all these risks, they get to keep their profits, but they get to socialize their losses. They get bailed out when they make mistakes. You and I don't. We go bankrupt. You know, he's not into that. He's going to create an alternate monetary system that is better, et cetera, et cetera. Jan 3, 2009, Genesis block. January 3, 2025. That's the 16-year anniversary of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin just had its sweet 16. And, you know.
So this was it a cryptic encrypt kind of message that was being sent out then in the UK? So was it kind of cryptic in there that he was saying something that he really wasn't saying, or was he being really upfront with what was happening with this idea of Bitcoin?
I think Satoshi was being upfront.
Okay.
So there's a record of him working on these message boards with other smart computer-oriented type people. And I want to use the term smart in terms of they're good with computers.
Okay.
There's many different types of smart, and I know as a coach, you know that. He worked openly with other cypherpunks to create a form of money that works online. Can't be cut, copy, pasted like a Word document.
Got it.
Can't be manipulated by governments or companies or banks can't speed up how fast it comes out, can't change how much there is. It's just a good, clean set of rules that people can rely on from now until as long as they need. So the message inside the Genesis block is in plain view. Anyone can go online right now to the blockchain, which is a big old public spreadsheet that everyone can look at, go to the Genesis block and see that along with the transactional data is just some words that says, you know, chancellor on the brink of second bailout, I think, you know, and we can look it up and figure out exactly what it says. But the idea was he was pointing to a financial system that he disagreed with.
Which was linked to the 2008 financial crisis.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah. So
So
2009, 2008, we all
so
get wrecked.
So when my portfolio got wrecked by a third. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we can only imagine what you and Linda had to do in the real estate space during that time.
We had to make a complete paradigm shift. Because we had to go, we became certified distressed property experts to handle foreclosures.
Wow.
So we got into helping people avoid foreclosure business. And so we literally were, because there were so many foreclosures coming on the market, we were trying to help people save their homes. And so we were able to turn these around, talk to the banks, and yet get their home sold without them taking a hit on their credit. So that's what we were doing at that time in the certified distressed property arena.
That's incredible.
So you had Satoshi Nakamoto and a worldwide group of what are called cypherpunks.
Right.
These are like open source coder, types.
Yeah.
Very progressive.
Right.
You could say they leaned libertarianism.
Okay.
Less government.
Sure. Yeah. Right. Right.
Less government. More,
Which, by the way,
solidarity.
I think of Bitcoin people more libertarian.
100%.
There are a ton of libertarians who are Bitcoiners, but not all Bitcoiners are libertarians.
I agree with that, but that mentality.
Yes.
Right. My master's and doctoral work is in psychology. Right. So I'm constantly thinking at the mindset of that. That's the mindset I think of.
Yes.
When it comes to a Bitcoin person.
It is. It's spot on. So it's like, how do we get out of this government-run, top-down society? We see this financial crisis happening. We need to create a new, better engineered form of money. And that's going to be a digital money for the first time. It's going to be a global money. It's going to be a decentralized money. So there's no nation state that sits on top of it. There's no bank. No one can print and inflate and devalue the dollars that we're holding, like the current system.
Sure.
Banks aren't going to get bailed out when they package up, all these.
Well, it's virtually. I mean, here's the other thing. It's virtually unregulated. Right. Virtually, it's typically not really. I mean, we don't have regulations on it at this point.
There are some, but it's nowhere near as regulated as the stock market or as some of these financial products.
Well, and here's the other thing that's similar to our currency, at least in my view. Correct me if I'm wrong. So if you don't mind me sharing my view on this,
of course,
yeah, we want your view.
So it's all about that.
Our current currency in this country, is not been backed in gold since 1968. So our currency is currently backed by faith.
Fiat.
Yeah.
Okay, right. If we believe in our current currency, our currency's fine. When we stop believing in our currency's not fine. Okay, that's how our currency works. Okay, my thought process is that Bitcoin is the same thing.
Okay,
is that it operates on, you have to have faith in it.
Okay,
that's my thought process here, right? And so I find them to be similar in that aspect. Am I wrong?
So Bitcoin is backed by energy. Bitcoin is backed by energy. Another way to think of Bitcoin, what we said digital money earlier, is digital energy. How do you digitize energy that is created somewhere in West Africa? We can't get electricity from West Africa here to the United States. It doesn't travel that way, right? But they can create a mining setup in Africa, let's just say, where the energy is cheap, and they can recapture all that energy that went to waste, and they can use it to power computers that mine Bitcoin.
Okay, hold on, because now I'm confused.
Okay.
So I need to back the truck up a little bit here and help me understand. It's backed by energy.
Yes.
Okay. That's the piece that I'm having a hard time putting together in my mind and I know you're trying to explain it, and we may have to dumb this down for this old cowboy.
Let's go to Texas, okay?
Here we go.
Let's go to Texas.
Let's go to an
This
oil...
is not a traveling show, but it is now. Okay, go ahead.
No, we're all over. We're global.
Okay,
we're Carmen Sandiego.
Stuart, take me to Texas, Stuart.
Yeah,
okay.
We're going to Texas, okay? They are drilling oil, right?
Okay.
And what happens on the top of an oil rig? They blow off the natural gas and they light that on fire.
Because they can't use it. They have no use for it. They can't transport it. They can't store it.
Right.
So that's wasted energy that's just going up into the atmosphere, right?
Right.
So Bitcoin miners have figured out how to say, wait a second, collect all that and let me use that and capture it, use it to power my computers that are going to mine the Bitcoin.
The natural gas isn't as easy for them to transport.
Right.
You need to put it into some kind of tank. That might be more volatile to transport than oil.
Right.
For whatever reason, it's not profitable. It's probably doable, but to get that natural gas from that rig in the Gulf to the marketplace doesn't make sense for that particular company, whether it's Exxon or what have you. So they're like, well, what are we going to do with this waste product?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we just light it on fire? And then you just, bloosh. It's called flared gas.
Right.
You light it on fire, and then it just burns and goes off into the atmosphere, and now your tank's empty and ready to get the next wave of natural gas from your next drilling expedition. But a Bitcoin miner is going to say, hey, whoa. I hear you got some stranded energy over there, sir.
Okay.
And it looks like you're just burning it into the atmosphere. Looks like you create heat when you do so, correct? I'm like, yeah, of course. We light it on fire. Well, hang on. If you could go ahead and capture that heat for me, I can turn it into electricity. I can take the electricity, I can drive it into my computer, and the computer will mine Bitcoin, and I'll make Bitcoin. Now, let me get you one more example, and then I'm going to try to build on top of that.
Well, it's not the example I want. It's so much to understand.
Okay.
And maybe this is good for people who don't understand it, because I've been under the impression for all this time that if I were to invest in Bitcoin, I'm investing in faith. But now you're saying, well, you're not really investing in faith. We're investing in some guy out there, or maybe group of people who have decided to take what would normally be wasted energy and are using it for their own purposes. Am I investing in him and his ability to capture the energy?
Mm-hmm.
Am I investing in a coin, which doesn't exist, that I have a virtual part of?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that I am really investing in?
Okay.
Is that a fair question to ask?
Yeah.
It's a very fair question.
Okay.
And
I'm not being adversarial, so please don't hear that. I'm asking out of curiosity. I'm asking out of curiosity.
Yeah, I mean, how in the world are you going to go from somebody saying these bleep blorps are awesome to, I think those bleep blorps are sweet.
I mean, I would love to be able to have the confidence in it.
Yeah.
To say, okay, I'm going to add this as an investment class.
Yeah.
I would love that. I'm not there. I'm honest enough to say I'm not there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So this is an education for me. So please hear me going, bro, this is like
help me get there.
Yeah, help me get there.
Yeah.
And when you are a beginner and someone like Chris says Bitcoin is backed by energy, he's taking you 1 or 2 or 3 steps in one fat leap.
And I want to know how that is. I want to know, and I'm a why guy.
Yeah.
And I'm also how guy. Right. So I want to know why and how.
Yeah. And when you say, well, like another example for a beginner is, hey, is 1 Bitcoin worth $100,000? And I say, no, 1 Bitcoin is worth 1 Bitcoin. That's 1, 2, 3 some odd steps.
Yeah.
So we're taking you too far. And I'm going to pull you back here real quick.
Let's do it.
And let's reestablish.
Thank you. Both of you.
You mentioned that the dollar is backed by faith.
Yes.
Okay. So long as America feels these slips of paper are going to buy them things, then it should work out. That answer is correct. And you could also make it a little bit more nuanced.
Sure.
The dollar is not backed by gold. Used to be.
68 last time.
Right? And so it's kind of like, what is it backed by? It's backed by the world's largest superpower. That's what it's backed by. And what America is doing when it issues dollars is they're saying, hey, our economy is worth this much money. Right? And so we'll issue these notes against our own productivity. And you can bet we're good for it because we're hardworking and we get up and we make it happen and we invent things and it's all good. So the US dollar is in fact backed by America. The problem is that America starts to give itself loans against its own productivity.
Which is a problem.
So you say your operating budget is $6 trillion a year. You collect $4 trillion in taxes. You don't got the $2 trillion. So what do?
We borrow.
Well, yes.
We borrow.
We say, hey, world, buy our debt.
Right.
And we'll be good for it. Okay. And they effectively print that $2 trillion by issuing it as bonds to other countries or other investors, et cetera. And they say, look, it's going to be fine, okay? It's a mortgage on the country because we're so far behind.
Which makes no sense when you think through it.
It's so upside down.
It's a big problem.
If people stopped for a second.
That's what we're doing.
Right, and just went, think through what you just said. You're going, have you lost your mind?
Yeah.
Right?
To the tune of $35 trillion, yes.
Yeah, okay. And here's the other problem. Dave Ramsey would have a fit if you were his client, okay? Right? He would have a complete fit. He probably does. I don't know Dave personally, but I'm here. He's a debt guy.
Yeah.
Right? And we're borrowing off of our debt to sell to somebody else our debt so that we can borrow from the debt that we sold so that we can borrow again for the debt.
Big problem.
So you and I have to operate on a budget because if we don't, we go bankrupt. But the
government doesn't have to operate on a budget. It has no. They say we have a budget. That's not a real budget. It's this. No, they don't have a budget. Okay, people think the government operates within a budget. They don't operate within a budget. They operate with whatever they want to spend at any given time.
Our currency being backed by the world's largest superpower and being printed beyond what we actually collect creates a scenario where we are getting ourselves into debt and paying it off with our future productivity, right? So the dollar
So we're borrowing against our future.
Yes.
Correct. So the dollar is backed by you and me and Chris and Jeremy getting up and going to work each day. And at this point, it's spooled out.
By the way, that is a bad choice when you think about it.
Yeah.
That's a really bad choice that the three of us, you're depending on the three of us.
Bad bet.
That you're betting on us to make the economy roll. Not good, man.
But not just.
That's not good.
It's not just us, though. It's us and our kids and our kids' kids.
Which is even
point.
Scarier.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah.
We're
with you.
Right? Because, come on, man. We're a drip in the bucket of water. And we're betting on that.
Yeah, because what happens if a meteor strikes America, right, from outer space, or maybe a man-made one that is on the top of a rocket? You just nuked your ability to repay your loans. And the fact that we're so upside down since we went off the gold standard and even decades before that to pay for some of those wars, that you're telling me we're $36 trillion in debt. And in 2024, our top spending item was not defense or even some form of healthcare or welfare. It was interest payments.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart to know that my 11-year-old son, his life from 18 on to 65 plus is already extracted and paid to America today in the form of debt.
And it all fits in with what you're saying here, folks. We keep borrowing from ourselves, right? When we don't have any money.
Don't have it.
Right? How does that economy work in your house?
It does.
What other human being can borrow against themselves? Go to a bank and say, I'm out of money, but look at me. I'm awesome. Let me borrow against me. What bank's going to give you that loan?
I'm worth at least $300,000 in loans right now, y'all.
Look at my future.
Yeah.
Look at my future. Go to a bank. Just go to the bank. I want you to loan me money based on my future.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I have no money. I have no assets.
Yep.
In fact, I'm really upside down.
Yeah.
But if you look at my future, it's bright.
Yeah.
Really, really bright.
Yeah.
Loan me the money.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Give it to me. What bank's doing that?
Even if you have assets,
we'll give you
half the value. Your loan to value is going to be 50.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can't even collateralize.
You can't collateralize it.
Yeah.
No. So
we're collateralizing our future. Is what's happening.
And keep going, brother.
And just one real quick piece. Why are you taxing me when you can just print all this dang money for free like you already are doing? If you're going to print $2 trillion on top of $4 trillion to have a $6 trillion, just print your $6 trillion. Why are you even taxing me? Because your money is ridiculous. But anyways, dollars backed by the world's largest superpower. Got it. Mm-hmm. Bitcoin is backed by many different things, but the nice symmetry for you here is that if the dollar is backed by the world's largest superpower, Bitcoin is backed by the world's largest supercomputer. So Bitcoin is a protocol. It's a program. It has rules. It says, let there be 21 million Bitcoin and no more. Let a new block of transactions be solved every 10 minutes, no matter how many computers are trying to do the work. And let there be a supply of Bitcoin that goes down over time, no matter what you want it to do, so that eventually the inflation rate, aka the rate of new supply, goes to 0.
So Bitcoin is a code.
Protocol. Yep.
It's a program.
Oh, here we go. Full circle matrix.
Okay. Full circle matrix.
Yeah. So it's a code.
Yes. Yes.
It's programming code.
It's software.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually what makes the software tick.
There you go.
The code. Yeah.
Yes. It is code. And you can inspect the code.
Wait, okay. This is Chris and Stuart. By the way, thanks for having me on the show. This is fun. And I'm so curious. So here's the thing. I don't know enough about the code to be able to inspect it, to know if the code's any good. But then here's my question. What if the wrong person puts the wrong information? Do you remember the first Matrix movie?
Oh, yeah. Just watched it with my son.
You guys remember it, right? And do you remember I can't remember the guy's name who was messing with the codes as they were out and about, and he was killing the people from within the...
Yeah, I think it was Cypher popped the cell phone, dropped it into the garbage can so that the agents would know. Right. And then the agents were able to change the code so that the window is now a wall of brick.
Okay, so here was the problem. Okay. What's keeping somebody doing that?
Good question. Here we go.
Let's hit it.
Let's jump into this.
Yeah.
All right. Now, first of all, you don't know enough about the code to know if it's any good or not. Cool. How?
Absolutely.
Tell me exactly how the electricity gets from this light switch to this light.
From this light switch to this light?
Yeah. When you flip it on, exactly what happens.
There is a wire. First of all, let's be sure that we understand that there is a wire that is connected all the way to the light switch, to that light. Because I've installed a lot of ceiling fans and lights. Okay, so that's the first thing. That switch is connected to the panel box that you have in your house that actually takes the power that comes from the city that runs a power pack to every home, which goes back to another set of cables that run to the source of the bigger city that runs your power, so that when you have your switch on, right? Because you can't get any power without the box. City is supplying you with electricity. When you flip that switch on, right? Let's think of it as binary code, ones and zeros, right? If it's a 1, power is allowed to come through that circuit in order to go to the light. If it's a 0, that means the switch is off, which means that even though there's power coming into the switch, there's no power that can be transferred from that switch into the light. All right? Does that That's about the simplest way I can explain it.
Okay.
But that's how it basically works.
Now, what is electricity?
It is a set of electrons and that run back and forth. So AC is alternating current that run back and forth that create a set of that creates an energetic field that is allowed to pass through basically a wire, just like our bodies, for instance.
But isn't electricity also magnetism?
Well, it can be, right? Because now we're talking probably a different kind of current structure, right? Because not all electricity is necessarily magnetism, is it?
I don't know.
I mean, I think magnetism can be a source, right? I can pull energy, right? And I can also repel energy with a magnet. We've all done that as kids, right? We've had two magnets that are positively and negatively charged, and you try to put them together, and right? Because they want to go against. So yeah, there's some energy there. I don't believe that all energy is magnetism, but I believe some of it is magnetism.
And you said electricity is made of electrons, right?
Right.
What's inside an electron?
Well, now you're getting down to the smallest possible particles, right? We just know that these things are charged positively or negatively, right? If we get microscopic about it, right? And those things go back and forth. So maybe in a sense, you could argue that, yeah, it is electricity because there's positive and negative charges that run up against each other that are causing that flow. Yeah. So, okay, we can go with the magnetism theory.
There you go. And so like down inside magnetism, what is it? Strong force, weak force? What are those? Right? So my point here is you can only ever know so much about something. You're only ever going to be able to go so far down before you just have to look at it and say, you know what?
You got me to a part where it's so granular, I have no idea.
You got pretty far.
Most people on the show go, I don't know. You just flip the switch and it goes. I'm like, okay, cool. You proved my point.
No.
We had to go way deep with Jay.
Bro, let me just tell you this. Get hit with 110 or 220 once or twice. You know what electricity is. And you know what the source is, man.
Most people, when I ask them the question, because we're up on the airplane in Inception, they stop there. But we had to go down to the white van for Jay. Then we had to go down to the hotel for Jay. Then we had to go down to the snow fortress for Jay. Then we were in limbo with Jay, dude. And we're trying to kick back up all through there.
When you start digging down on electricity, I can tell you some things about it. I can't tell you everything about it. But yeah, you're right. We drill down. There's a point I can't help you.
Right. But there is a point where someone else can. And so with Bitcoin, one of its most powerful features is consensus. So, and this was a huge thing for me. I have not inspected the source code.
Right.
And don't get me wrong. I read the white paper by Satoshi Nakamoto introducing Bitcoin to the world. I read his posts on the cypherpunk message boards. I read his emails. I read books on Bitcoin. I watched YouTube videos, podcasts, worked a ton with Chappie on Bitcoin, but I have never looked at the source code of Bitcoin, and I likely never will because I don't know what I'm looking at, but I know that there is a large number of people out there who do know code and who have looked at the source code and they said, hey guys, looks good. This works. Looks good. This works. Hundreds, thousands, okay, have looked at this and said, because there are some people who want to understand the source code because they are at that level. And when they look at it, they're like, seems good. So the first layer is that you have people who do understand the source code and they have verified it for us and we're trusting them. And that's okay because once there's enough humans who are like, yep, this is food and you can eat it safely, you can try it out and it's going to be okay, right? So we have consensus around Bitcoin. The next layer is that you can't drop a cell phone in a garbage can and have Agent Smith show up and change Bitcoin because, again, you must have consensus to change Bitcoin. Bitcoin is code. The code can be changed. And in fact, it has changed over the past 16 years. There are developers who work on the code. And they say, well, we want to be able to add something to the block so that you can put a longer node in there. Or they might say, we want to upgrade the defenses so they're a little bit more resilient. There might be some changes that help make Bitcoin better. But by and large, people build their generational wealth on top of Bitcoin because of certain rules that will not benefit them to change. Not a single person who has stacked their first sats wants 42 million Bitcoin instead of 21 million Bitcoin. Not a single person wants blocks to be solved faster or for the supply of Bitcoin to be changed because they are counting on Bitcoin. They don't want it to change. So the developers, they can only change things that benefit the entirety of the Bitcoin network. And when they release a new version, you may demonstrate your consensus with that by upgrading your computer, your miner, your node to that version. And what's crazy is that all of this stuff is backward compatible. And so there are some people who are still running the first version of Bitcoin, and they can send their Bitcoin to me using a newer version of Bitcoin. It's like the world's most stable software because it must be approved by everyone. You can't run in there and throw some code because if you do, you say, hey, I changed Bitcoin, version 21 comes out, they'll look at it and go, dude, this isn't right. And they won't adopt it and you're done. So Bitcoin is backed by the world's largest supercomputer. And what I mean by that is more than 20,000 individual computers worldwide are operating the Bitcoin network. And there is a consensus among the users that it is safe and secure and the code is good and they're protecting it. They don't want to change it. They want it to operate as it's been operating. So instead of a currency that's backed by the world's largest superpower that can be printed at will and that can be spooled out into the future to where my son and my grandson, and at this point, my great-grandson, are already conscripted into the fiat mines before they've ever even been born. You can have a system where everyone is only able to spend what they have. You can't come to me and say, I have 100 Bitcoin, when you really only have 2 Bitcoin. Because you can't make more Bitcoin than there is. You can only have the Bitcoin that you got. And so people like Safety and a Moose, who I recommend to everyone, once you've learned enough about Bitcoin by listening to YouTube, podcasts, talking to Chappie, and you're ready to learn more.
Sat chats.
Right?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Satchats.com. Okay. Grab your slot on the show. I recommend you pick up the Bitcoin Standard by Safety and a Moose. And he shows you that there's a world that allows you to spend what you don't have. And then there's Bitcoin, which says you can only spend what you literally do have. And you can't get upside down in this world. It's real money. It's sound money. It's hard money. So what is Bitcoin backed by? It's backed by the world's largest supercomputer. It's backed by its own rules and the fact that you can count on it. And since the supercomputer made up of all these small computers worldwide are run by energy, it's backed by energy because energy on a first principle goes into the computer and helps power the network.
All right, 2 questions that I have for both of you. I don't care who answers it.
Probably going to be Stuart.
Okay. Well, I would love you to be part of this, Chris. It would be awesome. First of all, we've all read where there have been coins, not necessarily Bitcoin, but there have been coins that have failed.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay. So you have Bitcoin. You have cryptocurrency.
Okay.
Many beginners believe Bitcoin is crypto. Bitcoin is not crypto. If you ask a Bitcoin maxi like me, okay, maybe technically from a Merriam-Webster's point of view, Bitcoin is cryptocurrency because it literally is math-powered money. It is cryptographically secured, generated, etc. But Bitcoin is decentralized, which means that it is operated by many different people around the world through consensus and through shared belief. No one person can change a window into a wall of brick. Everybody has to agree.
Right.
Cryptocurrencies are cyber items that are generated by companies in a centralized format. And they can be applications, the same way a software would work. And it's a software as a service, and you pay a company dollars in exchange for that software. You can create cryptocurrencies, which are really more like applications that run on top of a money or a token that you can buy to then power that software. It's like coin operated software, right? So you have decentralized applications. You have forms of technology that may have some utility, may have some use, and they want to be powered by their own currency that you then buy in order to power it. Some cryptocurrencies are full meme coins. They're fully about as good as a sneaker or a streetwear brand. You're chasing after it just because. And you want that meme coin because you think Doge is hilarious or whatever, right? So there are cryptocurrencies that have applications. Hey, this is like a more private form of currency, or this one can have applications on top. You have some that are meme coins, like this is so funny, I love this stuff. Then you have another class of cryptocurrency that is a full-on, quote unquote, pump and dump. And this is where they make a cryptocurrency, they issue out 1 million coins, they keep a bunch for themselves. Everybody races to get it because they think it's funny or because they think it's going to go to the moon. They want to make a quick dollar because it's going to go from 0.000001 per coin to 1 penny per coin, and they're going to make a 10,000% increase. And once everybody puts their money in, the creator of the cryptocurrency pulls the rug out from underneath them, says, psych, and takes all that money and runs.
Which is what we saw happen.
Happens a lot.
Plenty of times.
A real bad name to the whole crypto.
Well, this is part of my skepticism.
Yeah,
right?
Bitcoin is not that though.
No.
Okay. No. All right. So that leads me to my second question. All right. Now remember, I'm coming at this from a psychological point of view, right? We all know what groupthink is, right?
Yes.
Right. We all know what groupthink is.
From like a George Orwell perspective?
No, from a psychological perspective.
Okay.
So,
groupthink.
Yeah. So if we're in a group of people and one person has an opinion, all of a sudden the group adopts that opinion because it's what everybody else is doing.
Right. We have a hard time standing on our own when there's group consensus. We have a hard time standing on our own apart from group consensus.
Okay.
You know where I'm going here?
No.
The consensus of Bitcoin.
Right. So now I have my psychological concerns here, and I'm just throwing those out, that now we're operating on the basis of consensus, which sounds an awful like groupthink to me, which is dangerous. So now I have, so that's a second part of the skepticism, right? For me personally.
So can you imagine a scenario that is less susceptible to groupthink than another scenario?
I'm not sure what you're asking. Help me understand that.
So would there be factors in let's say a decision that needs to be made among a group that would make that group less susceptible to groupthink?
Oh, I see.
Could there be a factor you could think of?
Well, you know, that for me, and I'm just saying for me, so please don't take my skepticism personally, because you shouldn't. For me, I because we're all so hyped about something, right? Right. We're all so excited about this thing, right? It's harder for us.
So confirmation bias.
It becomes confirmation bias for us. And then we look for things to confirm that, no, this is great. This is great. This is great. This is the right thing. And by the way, it's all part of risk tolerance, folks. You know, if, you know, you have somebody like me who's going, whoa, wait. I'm not sure I'm comfortable there, bros. Love you, but I'm not sure I'm comfortable going down that road, because now it's starting to feel a little, we got a lot of confirmation bias. What if everybody's got confirmation bias? What does that lead to? That sounds cultish at that point, right?
Yeah.
And we got to be honest about that, right? Because then you start worrying. And maybe, sadly, for you two, right? Because I think you guys are awesome, and I love this. This is a great format. You should be telling your friends and your enemies about this show, by the way. You should be. You should be telling them about this. SatChat's awesome. Satchats.com. I was not paid to say that, by the way, as far as you know.
Not enough, at least.
Yeah. No, that's it. But you know, the thing is, I have been attacked by people who either want to friend me Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or want to connect with me on LinkedIn, what is their first thing that they do? What do they want? What do they want me to do?
Buy something.
Buy what?
Cryptocurrencies? Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I get hammered by that and Forex trading.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So when you're that hammered by these people daily, right? Even in a professional network like LinkedIn, where they got the headline going, I do whatever, right? And then they go, "Hey, coach, I love your profile. You're awesome. Have you ever invested in Bitcoin?" Whoa, bro. Yeah. Can we get to know each other first?
Yeah.
Have you ever invested in cryptocurrency? What do you think about Forex trading?
Yeah.
Right? Bro, you don't even know me, right? And so part of my skepticism is also just how that has come off to me too, right? Because it felt groupthink, confirmation bias, cultish-esque.
Sure.
To me, unfair. I'm the first one to say, not fair. Not fair, because you guys have done a brilliant job of explaining this, right? And I think it's pretty cool. And it's actually opened up my mind a little bit here to go, well, let's rethink this.
Yeah.
Let's rethink this, because Bitcoin has to be separated from cryptocurrency.
It must.
And I think that's an important delineation that has to be, and I think that's really important to the listener too as well. Don't throw the whole baby in, right? I still have some issues with, we're all in agreement that the code's right.
Yeah.
But we are ultimately relying on somebody who really knows the code. So we have to trust that person
Right.
that they really know what they're talking about.
Yep.
Which we're kind of hopeful that gal or guy has got this going together and got it on the right way. We got to hope that, right? Don't like hope as a strategy.
I get it.
Maybe we could call it faith. Maybe we got to have faith in that person. That may make you feel a little bit better. Chris, not sure it's making me feel much better, but that's where I'm at with it. So somebody is in control of that. And we've all kind of gone down the same path of going, we agree with him. He's the right guy. He's got it right. He's got it right. He's got this right. Or she's got this right. They're right. And we're all in agreement that they've got this right. And we keep looking for things to confirm they're right.
Well, real quick.
Yeah.
No one is in control of Bitcoin.
Okay.
Who controls gold?
Right. No, I get it.
Gold is a thing.
Right. Right.
Okay.
But here's where the skepticism comes in, right? The difference between the two. I can buy gold and hold it in my hand. When I buy Bitcoin, what do I hold? What can I tangibly show you?
A physical item can't help you with that.
Right. Okay. So right. This is part, and I get it, because that's not what we're investing in. I understand that.
That's part of what makes it valuable.
But I think that's part of what makes it valuable. But also at the same time, it's also where it lends to some skepticism as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Because we generally don't walk by faith. We walk by sight. And it does require a certain level of faith in Bitcoin, because I'm removing cryptocurrency from that now.
Yeah. Let's get it out of here.
I'm willing to get rid of it. We don't have to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
So let's just focus on Bitcoin. It requires a certain amount of faith in that protocol for me to go, yeah, I think I can invest in this. And it requires that because consensus is not necessarily going to be enough for me, right? And I don't know. I want to be part of the consensus as a guy who's authentic and kind of a maverick, right? But then there's a part of me that goes, maybe you're missing out on an opportunity there, brother. And maybe you should take a second look at that opportunity. You're not putting your old 401k in there, but maybe you should take a look at, and this is where you've gotten me to.
Okay.
Maybe you should take a look at maybe throwing a little bit of something at it.
A little bit.
Or read the Bitcoin Standard if you haven't read the Bitcoin Standard.
Well, I haven't. I fully admit that.
We're not selling anything,
No. I never felt like you were.
Yeah. And I know you know that.
Yeah.
All we want to do is get people to take the next step. Right. Just keep moving yourself down the path.
If you're willing to say, if we're willing to say, and I know we got to close this thing, but if you're willing to say that by me at least open to look at it another level,
yeah,
and that's movement, then you guys did your job.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So let's do this then. You talk about the fear of confirmation bias.
I do. Yeah.
With Bitcoin, what we actually have is confirmation.
Okay.
I'll leave you with that idea.
Okay.
You feel like you need to have faith in Bitcoin because you don't understand its source code. But in fact, all you need to do is enough work to understand the source code for yourself. Okay. And now you're ready to go. Okay. I want you to go to any old nation state on earth. And I think there's about 219 of them. Says, please, excuse me, sir. Can I please see your source code? Excuse me, sir. I understand you're printing currency. Will you show me your source code? Will you let me inspect you? They'll say no. Right. And we failed our audit, and you can't do anything about it. Right. You understand?
I got that.
Give me your money, fool. Sure. Okay? Work for me. Let me take your money. Let me lend against myself. Yeah. And let's have an absolute maelstrom of ungrounded nonsense that's going to hook all of us up for generations to the yoke. Right. All right? All you got to do with Bitcoin is go look at it. If the source code is the true hang up between you and where you need to be, you can go look at that, and you can't over here. So we'll leave that there. So let's clap it all the way back down to Bitcoin's performance as an asset over the past 16 years, which was one of the first things you mentioned. Right. Stock market's been around for a while. It's gone up, it's gone down, but pretty much it's gone up. Yep. Bitcoin's a new thing. I don't know what the deal is. It seems volatile. Guess what? Same thing. Over the past 16 years, it's gone up and crashed. It's gone up and crashed. It's gone up and crashed. But over 16 years, it's only actually done one thing, and that's go up, right? There are some that say, like I do, Bitcoin never crashes. It only goes on sale. And there are these hilarious memes online that are headlines stacked one on top of the other. Through the past 16 years, Bitcoin plummets to $300. Bitcoin crashes to $3,000. Bitcoin falls off a cliff to $32,000. And it just keeps, every time it says it's crashing, it's a higher number. So if you look at the performance of Bitcoin over the past 16 years, it's done one thing, and it will only ever do one thing, and that's go up. So for you to stack your very first sats, all you need to do is figure out if you want to put a little bit in. You can buy your own Bitcoin. Maybe you want to buy $50 a month because you got that lying around, and if it goes to zero, doesn't matter to you. It's not a life-changing amount of money. What can you show me physically? Well, technically, you can show me that you have the keys to your Bitcoin. And it's there on the blockchain, and can't nobody mess with it, can't nobody take it. And you are the only one that can open up the post office box on that wall to say, that's my Bitcoin. Or you take your 401k, you take your Wall Street geared accounts, wherever they are, and you go buy yourself some of the Bitcoin ETF. That might be through BlackRock, that might be through Fidelity. My recommendation is Fidelity because they hold the keys to their Bitcoin that you're selling, they're selling you shares of. BlackRock and others, they give it to Coinbase. So you need to trust Coinbase. Anyways, you could put 1% of your portfolio into Bitcoin. Who cares about some 1%? Nobody. And even BlackRock itself is recommending 1 to 2% right now to all of its customers because they've done the work to figure out what Bitcoin is. And the funny thing is, Jay, if you put in a couple of percentage points into Bitcoin over time, that will grow to be the lion's share of your account. And they actually showed over the past 8-10 years, if you had put 3% of your retirement portfolio in Bitcoin and done nothing else at all and just left it there, Bitcoin has appreciated in value so much that it becomes 80% of your portfolio. Can you believe that? Insane. So let's recap the conversation here. We've got Jay. This man is a legend. This man is worthy of Linda Craft, everybody. And I'm trying to tell you, if you're from Raleigh, you're going to lose your mind when you hear this stuff, okay? Jay did some marketing assistance with Linda Craft, some direct real estate assistance there. Jay has had a number of coaching engagements over the years. He's got books. He's got podcasts. Yeah. He's got an enormous grasp of what electricity actually is. Okay? So we encourage everyone to go to Jay's website, and I'm going to see if I can recall it, coachingmavericks.com.
That's correct.
What did Jay know about Bitcoin? Enough. It's a currency. It's an investment. Right. People believe in it, and so it's working. But we're not sure if it can be relied on. We're not sure about its performance. It seems relatively new. And what we learned is that Bitcoin has been around. Bitcoin's old enough to drive a car. That's what we learned.
Oh, it's got its permit for sure.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's performance has been up. It only does one thing, up.
Bitcoin, yes. Mm-hmm. We have to be clear that we're going to separate Bitcoin from cryptocurrency.
Yeah. We learned how to separate Bitcoin from cryptocurrencies. Right. We learned that our dollars are backed by the world's largest superpower, aka our hard work for decades. Yeah. And that Bitcoin is backed by the world's largest supercomputer, along with its own rules that cannot be changed. And therefore, if you go down even deeper, energy.
Right.
So if you are at a point where you know enough about Bitcoin, then we would encourage you to put a little bit into Bitcoin. And Satoshi himself, you can go and see where he posted on his cypherpunk message board that you might want to buy a little just in case it catches on. So what we're going to do now is make you an offer. But before we do, we need you to decide which flavor of Ithaca hummus you'd like to try right here in the studio with us today.
It's the jalapeno lime.
Jalapeno lime. Let's go. And this has been a very popular flavor among our guests.
Well, I'm a jalapeno guy.
Okay.
So I'm a jalapeno guy, and I love hummus.
Really? Now, have you ever tried Ithaca hummus?
I have never tried Ithaca hummus.
Oh man,
this is my first time. This is my first time trying Ithaca hummus. So I am stoked about this.
So let's all get it, and we'll try it all at the same time. Okay.
Okay, sounds great. All right, I'm in. Oh man, this looks good.
Okay, here we go. And now here's my woven wheat. Woven wheat sponsors, get at us. Fat glob.
You smell that fresh cilantro?
That is so good.
Wait till you eat it.
This is so good.
Oh yeah.
Okay, here we go. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Bring them home.
Holy.
And help yourself.
Holy.
You can have as much woven wheat crackers as you like.
Bro.
Isn't that amazing? That tastes like a Cool Ranch Dorito right there. Doesn't it?
Better.
I was about to rip your hand off trying to get to the next cracker.
Yeah, me too. I always go for at least 2, 3.
I could smash a tub of that.
It is so good.
It's so good. That flavor is
That doesn't taste like any other hummus you've ever had, I guarantee you.
I've never had, first of all, oh, wow. Wow. That's awesome. I get that nice jalapeno bite.
Yep. Fresh.
And it tastes fresh, and it's got that jalapeno bite, right? Which I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. I got just enough lime that gives me that slight pico de gallo edge, with that whole thing. And then that cilantro comes and sneaks in there, right? Yeah. Like it weaves itself between the lime and the jalapeno.
Whoa.
Yeah. And you get that cilantro taste that you can only describe as this earthy, delicious, green freshness.
Yeah.
That takes the edge off that tartness from the lime.
Yeah.
And also takes off the heat from the jalapeno.
Cools you down.
And it just weaves in between there, right? And then, of course, the actual hummus itself, which is the tahini and everything else, is absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
That is phenomenal. Can I tell you something? I would love somebody to bury me in a pool of this and eat my way out.
And eat your way out of it?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I'm going to be timing you.
Dude.
Woo. That is so stinking good.
So good.
So we've gone from number 8, Keen, telling us that no hummus save Ithaca can hold down the center of a charcuterie board, to number 19, Jay, telling us that he wants to be slipped into a pool of jalapeno lime hummus that he can eat himself out of.
I just want you to eat my way out of it, man.
I love it.
That is so good.
I love it.
Oh, my goodness.
That is so good. And you know what's interesting about this hummus is the texture is perfect. It's a creamy, great texture. There's no grit to it. Some hummuses can be a little gritty. This doesn't have any grit to it. This is and I'm a little bit of a foodie.
Yeah,
if you don't know, I'm a little bit of a foodie. Linda hasn't cooked in 27 years.
Oh,
so I do all the cooking.
Nice.
So the texture of the hummus, because some people are texture people, just telling you the texture is there. It holds up. It's not like what I might call like real pasty.
Yeah.
It's not too pasty.
Yeah,
it's the right consistency. It's not like your ranch dip. It's a thick, rich, perfect texture that you can dip a nice solid piece, hold it upside down. It's not going to drip off. No. And it's really, really, so, people are going to listen to this, trying to give you as visual as I can. I'm just telling you, you're missing something, because this is, I eat a lot of hummus. I've eaten hummus at some of the best restaurants in the United States and in even the world. And I'm just telling you, I would rank that right up at the top.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We love that. And that tub is yours to take home today.
Oh, well, it won't make it out the door.
And my dad tried jalapeno lime yesterday in the studio. And it's gone today. So he had it yesterday. Yeah. He tried it. He ate the whole thing yesterday. It's gone.
Yeah. No, this is one of those hummuses. I don't know if you've ever done this, boys. But have you ever done this? You got down to the hummus. You just really don't have enough for the cracker. Yeah. So you're taking your finger and wiping the outsides of it. Oh yeah. Right. And like you're licking it off your finger while eating a cracker. Yeah. Have you ever done that?
Oh yeah. We got a little message on the inside of the container. Once you get to the bottom, that'll make a little joke like that for you.
Okay, good. Because
we know those people.
Oh, I am. No. I am those people.
Yeah.
No. I am those people. So here's the other thing I think is really, really cool that you do. I'm an ingredients guy.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, it's chickpeas, it's jalapeno peppers, right? Those people are really concerned about it. We got a little sunflower oil to kind of bring it together, which we always do. Tahini, lime juice, garlic, vinegar, salt, cilantro, water, crushed red pepper. Do you hear anything that I just read that you can't pronounce?
Nothing. No, it's all real food.
All right. So I would say to people, you got to check this out, because this is real food. There is no preservatives. There's nothing in here that is other than real food. Really good, man.
It's unbelievable that your palate picked up on the cilantro without seeing the ingredients.
Yeah, that's really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Well, it weaves itself. Like I said, it weaves itself between the jalapeno and the lime.
Yeah.
Because you do get the lime, you do get the jalapeno spice, but then you get that all of a sudden this little soft edge of cilantro comes through and kind of takes the edge off of both of those. And it's a really pleasant, fresh, green, earthy feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Perfectly balanced, just like Bitcoin. So we're going to make you your offer.
Okay, well played. Go ahead, Stu. Go ahead.
Talk about the weaver over here. He's bopping and weaving all day.
Mr. Stuart Cilantro. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Chris is going to make it for you.
All right, yeah. Chris. So, Jay, Bitcoin community is all about value for value. All right. So, as a small token of our appreciation for coming here today and your time, we're going to make you an offer.
All right, I'm hearing it.
The offer is $50 for coming here, doing the podcast with us, putting up with me while I was trying to fumble through the explanations. 50 USD, all right?
Okay, yeah.
Nation state paper. Yeah. Or would you like $50 in Bitcoin? $50 worth of sats.
Let's do the calculations for you.
Real quick.
Okay, we're going to hit the dashboard.
So Bitcoin, according to the Clark Moody dashboard now is $96,710 for one Bitcoin.
Okay.
That means that sats or satoshis per dollar, there are 1,034 sats per dollar.
Okay.
So I'm going to go to my calculator here. Oh gosh, my daughter was playing with that. 1034 times 50 for $50. That's 51,700 sats.
Okay.
Or 50 USD.
So $50.
Okay.
backed by the world's largest superpower, backed by the three of us yucksters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sad.
That will likely buy you $20 worth of stuff later, or 51,700 sats backed by the world's largest supercomputer that you are free to inspect and understand as much as you want. And it will likely buy you, and I almost guarantee, more than $50 worth of stuff later. Which one do you want?
All right. So before I make my decision, I just want to say this so that we're really, really clear with the audience and everybody else here. Okay. They are not arm wrestling me for this. Okay. This is my decision, and it's completely my decision. And I am not going to say this because I am convinced one way or another, fully or completely. And I'm not, I love cash in my pocket. I love cash in my pocket. I do. I love it. But here's the thing. I think every now and then, because I'm authentic to who I am, you got to take risks. And I would rather take the $50 in Bitcoin because I think it's a risk worth taking.
There it is.
And I think if I'm going to try it and dip my toe in the water, then let's start here and let's dip my toe in the water.
Let's go. Jay's taking the sats.
Welcome to the sat pack.
Let's go. Jay, stacking his first sats. Yeah. Come on.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I think why not? First of all, it's not costing me a dime. So
your time's valuable.
You're paying for it. So it's your portion of the coin. So let's do it. Let's see how it goes. And it may be, as I get more comfortable, maybe I'll throw some extra in there and see what happens.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So we want to have you back in 9 months. We're going to see, hey, did you buy any more? Did you stack any more sats?
Right.
Did you take the sats, you learned about Bitcoin, you decided, I'm going to do the ETF, I'm going to keep it in the financial product world. We want to hear all that, okay? Right. So we're so excited for you to be stacking your first sats here today on the show with us.
Let's look forward. Let's see what it has.
Yeah.
It's been a great show. We can't wait to have you back in 9 months. So for all the satillionaires out there watching, head to coachingmavericks.com.
Please.
To slurp on some of Jay's sauce, because you're going to feel amazing once you do. This guy's energy is incredible.
So much. It's a beautiful energy.
Also, like and subscribe on YouTube. Hit us with 5 stars on Spotify.
You deserve it.
Give us value for value, because we guarantee that we have given you value for value just by sitting here and letting Jay give you value on our behalf. I mean, we're doing it bigs over here. Our goal is to get to 999 plus 1 subscribers on YouTube so that we can unlock a live Friday morning show, 10 a.m. Eastern. We're going to jump on to the feed. We're going to chat about sats in real time. Jay's going to be in the chat talking about all sorts of incredible things. We're going to have all your favorites in the chat. We're going to be answering your questions live. We're going to be hanging out. We're going to love it. Come chat about sats with us. Help us chat about sats live with you. That's all we want. We only want one thing. And before we head out, Sat Chats is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice. Our guests' views are their own, but I will say Jay's commentary about sharing with your friends and your enemies, that should be your view. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you on the next one.